Okay, we're here again with BIO-S3 Training, Jerry Ward, Internet Authority. So this week we're going to ask Jerry if there is a peak for a competitive bodybuilder or just for the male physique in general, and if you necessarily have to start at a young age, such as late teens, 18 to 20, in order for the body to mature and for the muscle to mature to an extent that is ideal when you reach the peak age. So Jerry, what's your take on that?
I don't think there is a peak age. I mean, I think Ronnie Coleman proved before that they thought it was, in their early to mid 30s. A lot of guys like Lee Haney was retired, I think, by 32, had 8 Olympias under his belt. And Ronnie was winning, not even coming into his own until over 40 years old. And then we see Jay Cutler now, who's 40 this year, and he's starting to go backwards physique-wise. So, like, it's so individual, like, genetic-wise, whether you're going to peak, where you're going to peak. But I don't think, there's a specific age that there's a peak physique. I mean, you have Tony Freeman, who's, I think, he's 46. And although he's not winning shows, he's not the top of the...
He looks great. He looks great.
Phenomenal. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He looks like a superhero.
Oh, he had those, the Ace of Spades, whatever, thong?
X-Man. Yeah. He had like it was like a straight flush or whatever.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what it was. I was like, what the hell is on his trunks? But it's like, I mean, he looks crazy for his, I don't want to say for his age because it doesn't really matter anymore. You get guys like Andreas Calling, who's a way older, in his 60s bodybuilder, and he's been around since he was competing in the 80s, a vegetarian bodybuilder who looks phenomenal too. I mean, again, he's not winning shows, but he's in better shape than like 99% of the people in the U.S. period. As far as having to start at an early age, me and my friend Donnie both started training about the same time, and he was like one of my first training partners that was serious about bodybuilding, and we used to train together, compete together. We were like living that whole like Arnold Franco type lifestyle. Like everything was bodybuilding, and he was a year younger than me. And from the jump, even without hitting the weights, he looked more developed. He was harder. He was more vascular. He had better separations. Like he had muscle maturity I didn't have at a year younger without even training. And then as we continued to train together, he got better and better and better as I got better. And literally he was a year younger than me. So he got stronger than I did. I mean, it really had nothing to do with the age. It just had to do with the genetics. Okay,
so let's say you start training maybe late 20s. Do you still have hope?
Absolutely. I don't even think Coleman started training until after that. So he like walked into a gym and started training and looked pretty good. And Brian Dobson, which was the owner of Metroflex, was like, "I'll give you a free membership if you do this competition." Because he was like, "No, I don't want to compete. I don't want to do none of that competition stuff there." They said, "We'll give you a free membership." He said, "All right, I'll do it for the free membership. We'll do that. All right, that sounds good. Cool."
Right.
It, and the rest is history. He got better and better until he retired, and that had nothing to do with his age. That had to do with him screwing himself up with those heavy weights and stuff that he used, and had nerve damage and all kinds of stuff wrong with him that, if he didn't train like that, then he probably would still look better than Tony Freeman right now.
So do you think the drugs elongate the longevity of how the muscle peaks and matures?
I don't know if it elongates it, but I think it actually may shorten it, to be honest with you. I think that if you see somebody who's training lifetime drug-free, and they train for 20 years, and you see somebody who's used drugs for 20 years, there's a different look, not just from the drugs themselves, but there's a different look, like a wear and tear in the physique, and a wear and tear in the joints because you didn't have your weights, and wear and tear in the tendons and stuff. And it gives a more worn-out, beat-up look, even though you may be training for the same amount of time as the natural guy. It definitely didn't prolong your career. I think it might actually shorten it.
So you're leaning toward more of it being a detriment to the longevity of your career.
Yeah, if you want to have, and you can still have a long career on drugs, obviously, that's not going to shorten the career, but I think that the time for the amount you're winning may be shortened. Like your physique is going to go backwards faster on the drugs. And maybe there's only a period of time where the physique can take so much, and let's say it's like 40 years natural, maybe because somebody's on drugs, they do it 20 years and their physique starts to go backwards. Maybe it progresses so fast that it gets to that peak and goes backwards, and it works like that. Nobody really knows because it's not studied. Nobody has any idea as to how this stuff works. You just know that if someone's been on drugs for a while, they have a wear and tear look. They have a worn look in their physique. Like, for instance, Cutler this year. Cutler came back and tried to do what he did when he was younger. And he literally had a different physique at the same body weight that he was when he was younger. It was a whole different look. And some people could say, well, he trained different. Well, yeah, he trained different, but his body's just different. And, you know, that has to do with the wear and tear, probably from the years of abuse of, you know, heavy ass weights for 20 years in the gym. But it probably has something to do with the drugs too.
Okay, so basically you're saying age is just a number and it shouldn't be factored into anything.
No way. I got two guys that I train, Ken and Mark, both over 50. Or no, Ken's going to be 50 and Mark's over 50. If you look at these guys, you wouldn't think they look anything like they did. And, you know, both of them are lifetime drug-free athletes. And they're just training. You know what I mean? They started training later in life. It wasn't like they've been training since they were 15 years old. You know, Mark was probably in his mid to late 40s. No, about mid 40s when he started training with me. That was when he first started training. And Ken did some spinning classes and stuff like that, but didn't get serious with weight training until he was like, you know, early 40s.
Oh, spinning class. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he was in there cranking it out. That was his thing until he decided, you know, he's a taller guy. He's got a big frame, and he was like, you know what? Let me try this weightlifting thing. Well, he took to it like a fish to water, and it was like, you know, I like this. But again, like you look at these guys, and obviously they started training later. They're over a certain age. But they look better than 90% of the guys that are like 25 years old.
Okay, so this is a BIO-S3 Jerry Ward, and we're
We're